thank you to the Congresswoman for her not only a wonderful introduction, but for her service to Wisconsin and representing us in Washington. And it is so important to have that voice. Well, I'm here to talk with you today about the issues that face students here in Wisconsin. And there's big issues around college affordability and about the jobs that are going to be available to you when you graduate. Now, I'm a fourth generation Wisconsinite. My great-grandparents were farmers. My grandpa George was a mailman who 50 years ago delivered the mail to the house I live in today. So every day I'm reminded of the deep Wisconsin roots that I have and the values that I was brought up on. One of those values is that everyone deserves a fair shot to get ahead as long as they're willing to put in the hard work. But what worries me, though, for far too many, is that is getting farther and farther out of reach. And one of the main issues with that is the cost of higher education, whether it's our technical colleges or our universities. And Scott Walker has given tax breaks to those at the top while leaving 41,000 people on the wait list for financial aid here in Wisconsin. Yep. Now that doesn't make any sense, because for our economy to grow, we need to have an educated workforce. In fact, 70% of the jobs in the future will require an education past high school, whether it's a certificate, whether it's a 2 or a 4-year. So we have to make sure that young people have the opportunity to get that education. And it is getting further out of reach. And in fact, in our country as a whole, the statistic is that the student in high school who is in the top quartile of family income, but in the bottom quartile of achievement, has a better chance at earning a college degree than the student that is in the top quartile of achievement, but the bottom quartile of family income. That's not what the American dream is about. The American dream is about having that equal shot, to having that fair shot. And that's what I'm going to do as governor. Yeah. Cut $800 million out of our K-12 system, but he cut $250 million out of our UW system, and set our technical college funding back to 1989 levels. That was his first budget alone. I'm going to prioritize higher education in our budget. Just to just say we'll have a tuition freeze, because that's not a long-term answer to this. All that will do in the long term is strangle our universities so they're not able to grow, so they're not able to expand the courses that are needed to make sure we are producing the type of workforce that can compete for the jobs of the future. So we need to put greater resources and prioritize it in our state budget. I have also proposed bringing down the cost of student loans. First of all, by making it tax deductible. And then also increasing the tax tuition deductibility to cover more tuition and fees for higher income families as well. Middle class families as well are being squeezed out of higher education. And I would also propose having a refinancing authority. There's no reason for the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people in this state who are paying off their student loans to be having interest rates of 6, 7, 8, 9%. Borrow at a much lower interest rate. So just like refinancing your home loan, we can do that with student loans as well, because it's not working. There's too many people who carry heavy student loan debt that prevents them from actually buying other things that fuel our economy here. This is common sense. So I'm going to focus on that as well. So we're going to bring down the cost of tuition for working and middle class families. We're going to help people refinance their student loans and bring that down. And most importantly, we're going to focus on getting our economy revved up. off those student loans, you need a job, right? And you need a good paying job. And right now, Wisconsin is dead last in the Midwest in terms of job creation. 10 Midwestern states, and our job growth under Scott Walker is dead last in the Midwest. And we have actually seen the typical Wisconsin family has seen their income drop in real dollars by nearly $3,000 over 4 years. So we need to make sure that people have the tools, the skills, the education, but we also have to be creating the jobs. And I don't know how many college students are here today who are worried about when you graduate if there's going to be a job in your community. I talked to a woman recently who lives in Monroe, and her greatest worry is that her daughter, 1 year after graduating from UW-Madison, hadn't found a job yet, thinking of leaving her community because of that. Well, for Wisconsin to be vibrant and growing, we have to create the opportunities so our young people are able to stay. Now, I don't know how many of you watched the debate last night. But Governor Walker said in the debate last night he didn't think Wisconsin had a jobs problem. Right? So I want to be a governor who acknowledges the challenges that we have, is going to focus on the ideas that are going to move us ahead, and going to make sure that Wisconsin has a vibrant, growing, thriving economy so that when you graduate from college, there's going to be great opportunities for you to be able to stay in this state and be part of the success in future. That's the kind of leadership we need.
That's right.
Talked about 2 of them here today. There are a lot of important issues for Wisconsin's future that are on the line in November 4th. So I ask for your support. It is going to be about turnout. It's about people going and making sure they have a voice. And I know with your support, I will be the next governor of the great state. To introduce a special guest that we have here in Wisconsin today. Yay! Senator Warren has been an incredible champion, not only of students, but of voters, of women, of hardworking folks across the United States to make sure that we are getting a fair shot. And I want to ask you all to give a warm Wisconsin welcome to the amazing Senator Elizabeth Warren.